Hey everyone, Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist here. First things first, thanks so much for checking out my channel. And I'm just super grateful to have a woman named Kim here. Kim is a member of my private coaching program, my Glute Relief Accelerator Program. And she's just totally crushed it. Just had an awesome experience and just such a role model, if you will, to people who are dealing with back, butt, and sciatica problems and really want to learn how to solve their problem naturally. So, Kim, I don't want to steal the show. I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us and also share your stories. I know you can inspire other people and show people, right, the power of using mind and movement as medicine. And heck, you learned how to do this on your own, right? So I don't want to take the credit. Instead, I want to turn it over to you. And if you want, we work with people all around the world with these issues. So maybe just start off with like where you're from, right? And then, how long you started the program ago and sort of what made you reach out? Like, what were you dealing with? So if you can just kick it off with that, that'd be great.
Absolutely. So I'm Kim. I'm from Palmdale, California. Well, actually, I'm from Detroit, but I moved to Palmdale. So in October, I was working out as I always do. I do Peloton. I like to lift weights. Put it this way, my 27-year-old son said I work out like a D1 athlete. And I'm 54 years old, so go figure. So I'm in the middle of doing some deadlifts just October of 2023, and something felt weird in my back. Now, mind you, never even heard of sciatica, never had any major pains, nothing like that. So after about a week, I would say my back was kind of dull. And then all of a sudden, I got this sharp pain in my right glute that went all the way down to my foot. And I never experienced anything like that. I mean, Charlie, put it this way.
Yeah.
I had four children on natural birth, and this put me on my back. So I did what every normal human would do. And I went on Dr. YouTube, Dr. Google, and I'm like, oh, I know what I can do. And I'm following these guys. And they're like, well, get on the floor, get in a figure four, do some cat cow, do some yoga, do some decompressions and all these things. And I tried it all and it just got worse. It was horrible. And
Yeah.
then one day I saw you and I was like, wait a minute. He's saying, stop stretching, stop all this paraforming stuff, stop. And I'm like, he's making sense because you're like me. I like to go against the grain. I'm like, well, if everybody else is doing this, Dr. Charlie says stop it, and he has something that could help me. So even before I enrolled, things started calming down. I'm like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, mind you, the injury happened in October. November, it was getting a little better, but I would have good days, horrible days. I would have to lay down. I didn't touch a weight, didn't touch my Peloton bike. And by the beginning of December, I signed up with your program. So, like I said, it kind of subsided, but it was still nagging me. And the fear was, oh my God, I'm going to have to endure this pain forever.
Yeah.
So then after I signed up December 1st, started following the program, I'm smiling because I'm just, anyway, searching for young emotions, and things just progressively got better and better. And then I got a little funky.
Yep.
So my 27-year-old son he took something from me, and I literally started sprinting around the house chasing him. Guess what I had? A flare up. And it was the same pain. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to start all over again. So I started going through your program. I'm like, okay, Dr. Charlie said, don't panic. And so I had to go backwards. And finally, after about a week, I would say January 1st, pain went away again. I
Yeah.
was like, okay. One thing I like that you said, if you've ever been a day without pain, you can get that back.
Yep.
So I'm here to say, what's today, January 24th? I don't say I'm back to normal. I
Yep.
say I'm forward and even better. So that's my motto.
Cool, cool. Awesome. Well, a couple nuggets. So I appreciate you sharing because yeah, we had some ups and downs. I remember you called me in a panic. Dr. Charlie, what's going on? Right. The only way to learn how to ride a bike is to fall off it every once in a while, right? So you fell off the one
Yes.
time you had a setback. I think it's really important for anybody who will see this video, right, to understand if you have some type of back butt sciatica problem, you started with a back problem then the back problem kind of ease up. Then you got butt pain. It's very common that like the back kind of goes away or gets better, and then it's like in your leg, and leg is on fire. It's like a Charlie
Yes.
horse in your leg, but like a real nasty Charlie in your leg. And so you mentioned something really important. If you're watching this video and you have ups and downs in your pain experience, we'll call it. All right. You have good days, bad days, or I say days, but it could be good hours, bad hours, right? Good weeks, bad weeks. There's variation, if you will, in the symptoms that you're experiencing. Then what it tells me is that if there's a break in the clouds and the sun peeks through for even just a moment, right? Then it tells me the chance that you can solve this naturally is probably pretty darn high. Now, again,
Mm-hmm.
we want to review the case and confirm that. But at the end of the day, yeah, like that is an indicator. And if you're watching this and symptoms are variable, that tells me that there's a break there and there's an opportunity there. And it's just like now we need to study and do some detective work to figure out what is it about those good days that make them good. Maybe even more importantly, what is keeping you from healing, and what is it about the bad days, right? That that's continuing to pick the scab. What is it that you're doing mentally or physically that's keeping you from getting better? So that's really cool. So I mean, what a month, 6 weeks? I mean, it wasn't forever, right? That you got better.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Cool, cool. Awesome. And then so like now, are you back to doing Peloton stuff? Are you back to lifting? Like
Oh,
where are you at now? D1
okay.
athlete
So,
stuff?
oh, almost. So before I started lifting weights, I would say it was maybe last Sunday or the Sunday before last, I went on a 50-minute hike up
Mm,
Baldwin Hills in California, overlooking all of LA. And there's a part where you can either take the really steep stairs or you can just go the flat path. I did both.
yeah.
And I was at the top almost in tears because before that point, I couldn't drive. I could barely sit. I couldn't sit for any duration of time. Mind you, I had to drive an hour just to get to LA
Yeah.
to then hike for 50 minutes. So last week, I started riding my Peloton. I'm up to about 15 minutes only because I'm doing other stuff and I just
Sure.
got bored.
Yeah, yeah.
And just Sunday, I started deadlifting again with weights,
Yeah.
kettlebell swings, deadlifting. So I'm back.
Cool.
I'm forward. That's my motto.
Good stuff. Very good. And
Yes.
and notice her attitude, right? Your attitude from the beginning has been key, right? If you've got a sour attitude, if you don't believe that you can actually heal this problem, right, naturally, the chance that you're going to be able to is probably not very high, because I can only impose so much belief, right? But this is why we share stories like Kim's. You said something, right, just to clarify, right? You had this kind of back butt stuff. I think it was in the right glute down the leg, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
nasty, nasty stuff. Cut my leg off is what a lot of people tell me. It's just bad. Couldn't sit. I remember when we talked, like, couldn't drive, like just really in a bad spot. Not doing
Mm-hmm.
Peloton, not doing any exercise. Now you're beyond that, we'll say, because you're doing everything you want and now getting even stronger. So that's awesome. So let me ask you this, right? So, why didn't you just go like local down the street, right? So you're in California, I'm in PA, right, and Pennsylvania, and so it's like you jumped all these states, to reach out to me when there's probably a million people in between.
I didn't trust anybody in between because I just by looking at certain YouTube channels and different chiropractors, I knew if I went anywhere local, I would get the same old, like you say, them fixing me and then it returning and me not knowing what to do on my own. The key
Mm,
for you or for me following you was the education because I knew if I could learn how to do this on myself, I'm already mentally figuring out how to fix my husband, father-in-law. So I was really excited about the education. That's why I wanted your program
cool.
because I knew if I could learn how to do it, I could apply it to anything else and possibly anyone else.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, very much a learner and or a student at heart, right? And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what I tell people is, look, a lot of people think there's a million different options to solve these problems. I guess you can make this as complicated as you want, but if you boil it down, right, you got pills, you got shots, you got surgery, right? So not so natural approaches. And then you got, we'll just say, motion, right? Now, motion could be you go to someone else, so you get a massage, you get I don't know, some other type of pressure or trigger point therapy. You go to a chiropractor, you go to a PT, right? Someone else moves you, or you learn to move yourself, right? I used to fix lots of people and crack necks and backs, and I mean, it works well for 10 minutes, an hour, maybe 10 days if you're lucky, right? But then the problem, it just comes back because you're not giving people the tools, knowledge, and understanding to solve it. So the idea is like, hey, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man a fish, you feed him for a life. And so it sounds like this is an approach that if somebody is looking to learn what they need to do to get out of pain, back, butt, sciatica issue, and then heck, you can apply this to other areas as well. Then it might be a fit. Is that fair to say?
Yes. And just to give you a parallel story, so I have a girlfriend of mine, and we normally walk the neighborhood, and she got sciatica issues in the same side a week before mine showed up. I was like, wow, I've never even heard of sciatica. What does it feel like? I kid you not, 1 week later, it happened to me. Now, with her path, she went to urgent care, she got shots, she got pills, all these different things. And guess what? She's still dealing with it back and forth, good days, bad days, and it lays her out. And I'm like, I'm all better. But so I'm trying to talk to her about your program, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well,
But
hey,
yeah,
hey, I appreciate it, but no, it's a nice way to kind of create some contrast because that's why I'm so passionate about doing this too. I mean, I see, like I know there are hundreds of people going right down to the spine surgery center, not too far away, or to the urgent care, and they're getting pill shots of surgery or unnecessary radiation or tests that they don't need. And we know that too. That's the crazy thing is that most of the research actually supports that, showing that these things a lot of times make people worse and don't really solve the problem. But the world is just very used to that path, right? It's just like
yeah,
water going down a mountain. The longer it goes down the mountain, the deeper the groove gets. And so we're trying to help pull people out and say, look, you're your own best doctor and healer. I know you haven't maybe gone to school as long as I have, but I've been the nutcase who's wanted to do that. And now I boiled it down for you. And so I can give it to you in a way that resonates. And so you can have what you need to, as the person in pain, start to understand what feels good, what doesn't feel good, how to put the
mhm.
pieces together and all of that. So sorry to hear about your friend. Maybe she sneezed on you. You got it, but you figured out how to get rid of it sooner.
I
Uh,
was like, wait a minute, is this contagious? It was too freaky because I've never had any pain like that. And a week after hers, mine hit. I'm like, okay, this is weird. But what I really like about your program is it reinforced the brain body connection.
yep,
Oh my God, that was really key for me because
yep,
although I know mine was a structural problem, I had an injury, and
yep,
then I had the pain. There were certain things that I was afraid to do where I would just sit with the pain and then kind of watch it go away,
yep,
kind of during the flare up. And so key, so key.
yeah.
That helped me out a lot.
Yeah, okay, cool. So real quick, let's talk about that, right? That's a really interesting point. So I'm very much a proponent of trying to leave no stone unturned for people. And so I devoted my career to studying all the structural approaches from all the big gurus, basically, as much as I could afford and time would allow to travel and work with all these, people. And then I said, okay, so now I know all the structural side of things. But guess what? There's like a brain or a head connected to this person, right? That has the ability to interpret pain and they all have their own experiences. They all have their own beliefs based off of what other people have told them. And so absolutely, like a large portion of what we do, we'll say 50-50, right? Is we educate people on the role of the mind on pain, right? And also the role of the body on pain. So I can use the mind and movement as medicine. Let me ask you this. Yeah, that definitely seems like a key piece of of the recovery process. Would you say that's different than what your friend's getting? How does this differ from like a very traditional approach you've seen other people who have back and sciatica problems kind of take?
So with her, she's only relying on her pills. And when she has a flare up, all she knows is to lay down until it subsides. But the problem with her pills and shots, she'll do too much and she may aggravate it, but not really feel it. So she's continuously going through this loop. Whereas with me, when I had the flare up and I started applying the yummy motion, and then you asked me, you said, have you been doing any progressive walking? And I'm like, I don't really want to walk, but I did. And the progressive walking helped. So I
Yep.
had this whole, I was listening to my body and I could fix it and rely on me versus relying on something external,
Yep.
not knowing what did it. Was it for her? Was it the shot? Was it the pill? Was it laying down? Whereas with me, I know exactly what helped me get better, even
Yeah.
to the point of during kind of in the beginning, I found my yummy motion by mistake because
Yep.
I was in so much pain. I'm laying on my stomach to eat my meals.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then I noticed after being there for 10 minutes, I got up, I was like, wait a minute, that helped a little bit. So when I went through your that particular module, I kind of already knew the backwards bend would be kind of my saving grace, and it was. And
Awesome.
then you taught me how to use the movement as medicine. So instead of taking a pill, I'm doing my little movements 4 times a day, 10 reps each. And I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. And I even use it in my exercises now. So even
Cool.
when I'm doing my deadlifts and my Peloton, before I start, I'll just hit a couple of my little press ups and, just kind of an insurance policy. So
Yep. Cool.
yeah.
And let me ask you this, right? Did we give you like a sheet of exercises to do, right? Or like was it kind of just random, right? Or was there a process there, you know?
Oh no, there was definitely a process.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was based upon my pain pattern, try these selective exercises, and I had to rate each one and do movements that hurt, and I could see right away which ones helped. So no,
Yeah.
there was definitely a process.
You could see right away, but I thought you had to like wait to try exercises for like weeks to see if they would work.
No, no, no. Right away, I would do what you call the yucky motions. Like for me, the worst was just crossing my right
Yep.
leg over my left. I couldn't even put on my socks. It was
Yep.
that painful. So after applying the particular motions for that, I did it again. I was like, okay, that's a little better. Instantly, you could see a difference.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't say enough about it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, right? And that's always what we're going for. You know, what I tell people is, 0% change times however many times you want to try that treatment is probably going to be 0%, right? And so there's a lot of people reach out to me and they can't believe that you can take one motion, right, and solve a problem that's been going on for 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, 60 years. Most people respond to one motion. If you're watching this and you're trying lots of different things, you're going to be confused. And so you could take that, you could say, well, I'll just try one at a time. But then the question becomes, well, how do you identify what that one thing is? Right? Because there's many options. And so then you're in this Rubik's Cube of trying to figure out what to do and what not to do. And so, obviously Kim came to us and said, well, hey, rather than trying to figure this out myself, which I've been trying to do a little bit, right? Why don't I just try to accelerate the process? And it is a process. So we teach you how to systematically not only measure what's happening with your body, because if you're not measuring something, you can't manage it. But then we show you how to test. We call it hunting for motions based off of your story, where you hurt, right? The motions that are yummy or yucky, and we show you how to self-assess. And then she goes, bam, I'm pain pattern number 1, right? And she identifies with X, Y, and Z, tests the motions that we show her, and she finds the one thing. And then she slaps a prescription on it with the dose, the frequency, and the timing. And before you know it, her friend's taking the real pills and she's taking the movement pill.
Exactly.
Yeah, really cool. Well, let me ask you this. What would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence and is like, hey, I've obviously got options down the street. I could go to them, Charlie, right? But what's so special about your program, right? And is this just going to be another program that just kind of is cookie cutter and doesn't really work? What would you say to that person? Maybe keep your friend in mind.
I would say that this is a direct path. So you can go searching more on YouTube. You can go to the guy down the street. But one thing you have to remember, there's a lot of people who are still continuing to go to the guy down the street. When you can watch your testimonials and see some people have been doing this for 6 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
They join your program, and within 6 to 8 weeks, they're already feeling relief they've never felt. So I just tell other people it's a direct path to where you want to go for healing versus all of the guesswork of potentially going down the path of a chiropractor who's going to say, well, this isn't working, that isn't working. Our next step is surgery. And if surgery doesn't work, then we're going to do this. It's like, no, go to someone who can teach you how to do the work yourself. Be your own doctor, be your own therapist. And I know a lot of people like things that are kind of a quick fix.
Yep.
To me, this is the best of both worlds because I got a quick fix. I didn't have to spend a lot of money.
Yep.
And I understand my body and I can apply it in so many other areas. Like the other night, I slept on my neck wrong. And I was like, okay, Kim, what would Dr. Charlie say? Don't go to the particular area trying to fix it. Do something yummy. So
Yeah.
that's my theory on everything. Okay, if something hurts, don't just go try to fix that. Go to something yummy. So that's kind of how I apply it to everything now.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Vote for yummy. Don't guess, test. Right. And
Yes.
yeah, you've got to follow in my experience, a systematic like methodological like framework for figuring this out. Otherwise, you're just trying a bunch of random things. So
Absolutely.
cool. So you'd recommend the program. You'd say, hey, Glute Relief Accelerator program, valuable, worth the money, helps.
1000%. Absolutely.
Aw-
Absolutely. And
Awesome.
the beauty is I can always go back in if I ever get a flare up because I'm doing my D1 athlete thing, I can always go back and kind of refresh my memory on, oh yeah, that's right. This is what I did. So I don't anticipate it, but I know it's there if I ever need it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what's really cool for me to see. More than anything, I know that people, right, who are in a certain place, I know we can get them out of pain, but more importantly, I want them to own the tools for life, right? Such that if something ever happens to their neck, to their knee, to their arm, to their back, right? I know we call it the Glute Relief Accelerator Program, back problems, SI joint problems, piriformis syndrome, sciatica, disc problems, all those kind of common diagnoses that cause pain in that area. But I mean, if you see the body as like a connected unit, and you realize again that there's more than just the mechanics of the body, but you also have like this nervous system called your brain connected to it, right? Then you can use the principles universally. Sounds maybe crazy to people because lots of people reach out to me, Kim, and they say, "Well, my problem's different. My problem's unique. It hurts here, it hurts there." What are your thoughts on that?
It doesn't matter because it's the process. It's the process of helping them get out of pain. And like you said, this whole thing is everything is connected. So it doesn't matter where the pain is. If they follow the process, they track it, they can see a noticeable improvement. So they
Nice.
need to try it. They absolutely need to try
Boom.
it.
Good stuff. Well, Kim, hey, I think that's it. All right. Meaning, like, I just appreciate you sharing your story and taking the time. Is there any final remarks here? I don't think there really needs to be anything else to said, but anything else you want to share?
No, like I said, my new thing is, I'm not back to normal. I'm forward and getting better every day. So
Awesome.
now it's like I approach exercise differently. I'm listening to my body. I'm feeling for little nuances. So I have an even stronger brain body connection just by getting out of pain. So in a weird way, I'm almost glad it happened because it helped me stop what I was doing, reset everything, learn how to deal with any future pain, learn how to work out even better. So, enough said.
Cool, cool. Awesome. Awesome. Look, you're a champ. You totally crushed it. And I appreciate your support inside the community too. I know you check in every once in a while there and offer some inspiration. So we've got an awesome community in there that's helping a lot of people out. So thank you for the contributions. Okay. So look, if you're watching this video, right, and you're somewhat like Kim, where maybe you're not a D1 athlete at 51, right? But you used to be, and or you're like, hey, I just want to stay active for years to come. I not only want to think short term about getting out of pain, but like Kim, I'm wanting to actually learn because I care about having the tools, knowledge, and understanding, not only now, but also in the future. I want to learn what I can do to take care of my body. Health is wealth, if you will, right? Then look, we don't know if we can help because we don't know who you are watching this, right? But if Kim's story resonated with you, you've got some type of back, butt, sciatica problem, piriformis syndrome, SI joint issues, something like that, it's causing a pain in the butt or down the leg, right? Then we can probably help you out. But basically, what I would like to offer is just the ability for somebody like myself to review your case. So I would love to review your case personally. This is what we did with Kim. I basically said, hey, Kim, not exactly sure if we can help, but let me at least check things out before we chat about things. And so if you're interested in learning how to solve the problem and you have some pain, back, butt, or leg, just click somewhere below this video. There's going to be like an apply link, basically. We don't work with everybody. We want to make sure that we can help. So once you click on that link, you'll be directed to set up a time to chat and or submit details of your specific case. We call it a formal case review. I review all cases personally, just so you know. I will reach out to you personally and let you know if I can't help. We'll give you some alternative recommendations, or if we can talk about the plan just like we did for Kim. So that's all I got. And thanks so much for watching. So thanks so much, Kim. I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you.